What do you believe, brother?
I believe in one God.
What's that?
I believe in one God.
Do you have a definition of that God? Can I give you one?
You can give me.
Okay, so God defines himself in the Quran. Yeah, God defines himself in the Quran. In Surah Al-Ikhlas, one of the chapters of the Quran, God says, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Qul hu Allahu ahad. Say he is God, the one and only. He is not three, he is not one in three, he is not three in one, he is only one. Allahu Samad, God the absolute, God the eternal. Right?
This God, the absolute God is eternal. It's like almost word for word in the Hindu.
Huh? Exactly. So they worship the idols, but they worship the idols.
You know, they don't understand
they don't understand what the scripture says.
I have read the scripture. The God who is eternal and the only one, he says, if you worship the demigods which come from me, you do worship by the wrong way.
Right.
You should worship me alone.
Yeah. I have read the Hindu scriptures, brother.
Yeah.
I have read the Hindu scriptures. It says that.
So I'm really interested.
Let me finish the definition of God. Let me finish the definition of God. The third point is God says, Lam yalid wa lam yulad. He begets not, nor was he begotten. That means that God was not given birth by somebody and he does not give birth to anybody.
Right.
Walam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. There is nothing whatever like unto him. The moment you can contain a mental picture of any being, that being cannot be God. Right? God is outside of his creation. He is a creator. What he does, he chooses a man amongst men, whom we call them as prophets and messengers. To these prophets and messengers, God gives them the guidance, the revelation to guide the humanity. God does not become the part of his creation to know what is good or what is bad for his creation. You know what I'm saying? If I manufacture an iPhone, do I become an iPhone to know what is good or what is bad for an iPhone? No, I write an instruction manual.
Untouched.
Untouched.
Yeah. Untouched. And the Hindus say the same. They say he is not touched by any of his creations, what they do. If they sin, he is not affected by them. Yeah.
See, in Hinduism, if you read the books of Hindus, one of the most revered books are the Vedas. Right. Have you read the Vedas?
Only the Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah, so in Vedas, there are 4 Vedas. Yeah. Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Atharva Veda and Sama Veda. Right? If you read the Yajur Veda, it says, chapter 40, verse number 8, it says, Andhatma Paravishanti Ya Sambhuti Mupaste. It means that they are entering into darkness. Who? Those who worship the Asambhuti. Asambhuti means the natural things. Like the sun, the moon, they are going into darkness. The verse continues. Yajur Veda chapter 40, verse number 9 says, they are going more into darkness, those who worship the Sambhuti. What is Sambhuti? Sambhuti means something that you craft with your own hands and then you worship. Very clear.
So I've been to a few mandir. I don't understand. This is where rituals come to practices when people practice religion. I don't see many of things I see in Hindu, when you go to mandir, I don't see in the Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah, nothing.
Talk about
because Bhagavad Gita says that those whose intelligence has been stolen by material desires, they worship God besides one true God. So people who are materialistic, they worship demigods, Bhagavad Gita says.
I just want to say, I'm always interested to find in those religions, the common things, because my friend of mine, he is Muslim. He practices.
MashaAllah.
We all do some certain practice to connect with this high creation. They all have in common. We have to build our law.
No, the way you practice should also be legislated by the Creator. You know what I'm saying? The way you practice should also come from the Creator. You know what I'm saying? For example, you have this traffic light here, and there is a line that says that you have to stop here. The place where the line is, that's where you're supposed to be stopping. You cannot say that, hey, you know what, because I see the traffic light, I'm just going to stop somewhere where I feel like stopping. Does it make sense? You'll get a ticket if you do that.
It makes sense.
Yeah, right? So the way you worship God should also come from Him. That's the reason God sent the prophets. That's the reason God sends the messengers who showed you how to worship that God. And the last and the final messenger was Prophet Muhammad, the peace be upon him. Right? The Hindu scriptures talks about it. The Christian Bible talks about it. The Jewish scripture talks about it, right? In the Hinduism, the Hindu scriptures talks about the Narashansa, Kaurama. You know, if you read the Kalki Purana, chapter 2, verses 2, 5, 7, 8, 9, 11, it talks about the final Kalki. You know, it says that he shall be born in the 12th month of Madhav. His father's name shall be Vishnu Yas. Vishnu Yas means the servant of God. That was the name of the father's name of the Prophet Muhammad, the peace be upon him. His father's name was Abdullah, which means the servant of God. His mother's name shall be Sumati. Sumati in Arabic, if you translate, it means Amina. That was the name of the mother of Prophet Muhammad, the peace be upon him. It says that, you know, the followers of this prophet will not have a shandy, bunch of hair on their head, but they will grow a beard. These are the men who will be circumcised, and we know that the Muslims are circumcised. They are the men who are the meat eaters. We know that the Muslims eat meat. They will not be purified by herbs and shrubs, but they will be purified by warfare. All of these things talking about the final messenger, Prophet Muhammad, the peace be upon him. In the Bible as well, if you read John chapter 16, verses 12 to 14, Jesus says, I have yet got many things to say unto you, but ye cannot bear them now. For he, when the Spirit of truth shall come, he shall guide you unto all truth. He shall not speak of himself. All that shall he hear shall he speak. He shall glorify me. He shall tell you things to come. Who is the Spirit of truth that Jesus was talking about? He was talking about Prophet Muhammad, the peace be upon him. He is mentioned by name in the Old Testament, in the Songs of Solomon, chapter 5, verse number 16. It says, Hikku Mamatakim likulli Muhammadim Zaidudi Zarai Bana Jerusalem. Muhammad is mentioned in the Old Testament as well. In the New Testament, Jesus talked about him. So if you look at the consolidation of all the religious scriptures, they talk about one God who has no image, who is not born, who is absolute and eternal, he is not comparable, and all the scriptures at the same time also talk about the last and the final messenger, Prophet Muhammad, the peace be upon him, brother.
No beginning and no end.
Right? So in Islam,
as I
brother,
said, you know, I'm only interested into reading, kind of to understand more my brothers, kind of, you know. So it's I have a strong faith in God. In this
what's that,
one.
what you
I
said?
have
What is it?
strong faith.
Okay,
Faith.
right.
I meditate like whenever, and like you ask me like what is God, dude? I cannot tell. And if I would have seen him in a deep meditation, I still couldn't tell. In
Now, if
this
you have seen
language,
him, then that's not God,
right? So
because
you know,
God mentions in the Quran
it is not comprehensible by this mechanism which is given
exactly
here. So
because God is outside of His creation.
like what I see is his qualities, how he expresses his creations,
Like mercy.
synchronicities, mercy, like
When you
you know,
contemplate on the creation of God, for example, there's a verse in
even
the
if
Quran.
the Hindu have those different deities, yeah, even that, like people can experience them. I know my friend, she met Ganesh in the vision. She didn't even know about Ganesh in Hindu.
Yeah, but the moment
You
she
know,
sees Ganesh, that doesn't mean that she is seeing God.
right, but it's just, you know, like one of those expressions of his creation. And we are everywhere. We are in our souls here, standing, talking in this
See,
3D reality.
there's a
Some are
beautiful.
floating around
Hana, brother.
you know,
I hear you,
in
brother.
between, man.
There's
So
a beautiful verse in the Quran
uh,
in Surah Fussilat, one of the chapters of the Quran, chapter 41, verse number 37. God says, "Among His signs are the day and night, the sun and the moon. Do not prostrate to the sun or the moon, but prostrate to God who created them." God is saying that the sun and the moon, the moment you look at the sun, you're reminded that there is a creator. The moment you look at the moon, you're reminded that there is a creator. You cannot worship the sun and the moon because sun and the moon are the creations of God. God is saying you should be worshipping the creator who has created the sun and the moon.
I can tell
Does it make
you,
sense?
it makes sense. It makes sense. This is what when I sit down and I eat, yeah, I go in my inner inside, and I realize, although I bought this food, although it seemed like I made the decision to make this food, to eat this,
Right.
something gave me the energy.
100%.
Something like you know, like the whole possibility that I have the money.
Well, you have the food, but you didn't grow that food. God is the one who provided you with that.
Everything is like
Exactly.
provided. So like I acknowledge, like yeah, more than acknowledgement. So I really like I like the.
So if you believe that there is one God, brother, and if you believe that that God has got no images, and if you believe that Prophet Muhammad is the messenger of God, would you like to become a Muslim? You know, Muslim means a person who acquires peace by submitting his will to the will of God.
Right. So probably I am all of them.
So you just have to say that in Arabic. I'll say that. I'll help you with that.
No, amigo,
You know,
amigo.
it's easy.
No, listen. I am. You know what? I am none of it. But I have strong faith, and I'm making experiences with God almost every day. So this is enough for me. I don't have to. I respect, and like you say, you acknowledge that this Muhammad is
The messenger of God.
and Jesus was.
Yeah.
And Moses was.
Right.
And Krishna himself, not only he sent messages, he himself like took a, like God himself took avatar and just came to talk to us.
But the Hindu scripture doesn't talk about that. That's made up by the Hindus. Hindu scripture says that yada yada hi dharmasya. You know, I come, they say. I come doesn't mean that God himself come. God sends the messengers. So the final messenger, as I mentioned about the final messenger from the Hindu scriptures, he's called as Narashansa, he's called as Kaurama, Kalki Avatar, you know, that I mentioned about it. So God does not come. What he does, he sends his messenger. And the final messenger that was sent for the whole of humanity was Prophet Muhammad, and peace be upon him.
They've sent so many messages. Even Buddha was one.
Well, Buddha, his name was Gautama Siddhartha. His actual name was Gautama Siddhartha. He had the concept of Sukha and Dukkha. You know about that? You know what is Sukha and Dukkha means? Sukha and Dukkha means giving glad tidings and warning people against sin. That was the job of all the prophets. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, God, he mentions about Prophet Muhammad and peace be upon him in Surah Sabah chapter 34 verse number 28. God says, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا كَافَّةً لِلنَّاسِ بَشِيرًا وَنَذِيرًا. O Muhammad, O Prophet, we have sent thee not but as a giver of glad tidings and warning them against sin. That was the job of Buddha as well. But what happened? A lot of the Buddhists, they have taken Buddha as God now. Buddha had a mother, he had a father.
You know, every of us has different expression in this creation. And for me, for example, I like to practice by myself. Like if it comes to religion, because everybody of us builds a unique relationship also with whatever this is.
Right.
Because we use the word God, but it's so big.
See, I'll tell you something. Let's say I bring a device in front of you, a very brand new device which is new to you, you haven't used it before. If you don't have any instructions how to use that device, the chances is that you might ruin that device.
Could ruin your body.
Exactly. That's the reason, because God is the creator of the human beings, he has sent the prophets to show how the human beings should be leading their lives. To show how the human beings should be leading their lives.
You know, I'm cultivating my mind and purifying my heart. And
no, you can purify, brother. You have all life to purify. But then the two basic things is to believe in one God and to believe in Prophet Muhammad and peace be upon him. You are a Muslim already.
Then probably I am a Muslim.
So you just have to say that in Arabic.
You know, I believe in one God, and I have no doubt that He is the Prophet. He is one of the prophets.
Right.
You know, just too blind in all history to
Right.
to see it right away all the time.
Right.
We always have to get new prophets sent.
No, that's what I'm saying. So when you say, when you're saying that you believe already in God and Prophet Muhammad and peace be upon him, these are the two basic conditions for somebody to become a Muslim. And Muslim means a person who submits his will to the will of God. So when you believe that there is one God and you believe that Prophet Muhammad is the messenger of God, what is stopping you, brother?
I am good. I am with God.
I want you to be very good.
We wanted to take a walk. Actually.
Sure, definitely, brother. Think about it, contemplate. You know, and
I contemplate. You know what? I will talk with my friends when I have read a little bit more.
yeah,
Who
you take a,
reads it in Arabic.
you take, we have a YouTube channel. It has my email ID as well. You know, check it. It has my email ID. You can contact me. Shoot me an email if you have anything. We can sit and discuss. Thank you, brother. Take care, okay? Yeah, nice meeting you. Okay.